and a pretty darn good one at that. Holly Avenue, everyone. Let's give them a big round of applause. They're going to end this for us in a few minutes, too. We would now like to recognize the veterans who are in attendance, and I would like to ask you to listen very carefully for your period of service and join your fellow veterans in standing or raising your hand to be recognized when we call that out. We're going to have these veterans on the stage introduce themselves, and they will tell us the period of service that they served.
Good afternoon. I am Howard Mercer, a World War II Navy veteran. What a pleasure and honor it is for me to be here to represent the World War II veterans. And I would ask at this time, how many World War II veterans do we have here, if they are standing? Here's one under the tent. Any others? I salute you, sir. Glad to have served with you. I've been asked many times, what do we have in common? What we have in common with all other veterans is that we all fought under the Stars and Stripes, the flag of the United States of America. Many years ago, there was a song written that says, it's a grand old flag. I don't know whether most of you have ever heard that, but the lyrics goes like this. It's a grand old flag, it's a high-flying flag, and forever in peace may it wave. It's an emblem of the land we love, the home of the free and brave. Every heart beats true to that red, white, and blue, and forever may we see it raised. And so what I would like to say, let us all keep our eyes on that grand old flag. Thank you for having us, and may God bless America. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Chuck Suddeth. I'm a long-time resident of this Lubbock area, and I was involved with the Korean conflict back in 1951. At this time, I would like to ask if there's any others that were involved in the Korean conflict. Please stand and be recognized. Am I the only one? Well, it had its time. You know, I ended up in the Korean War in 1951 after I neglected, after I got sick and could not, and was enrolled in tech and couldn't even start that semester. Ended up in the Air Force, the Strategic Air Command. I started out in Lubbock. They shipped me to Amarillo. They shipped me to San Antonio, and then back out to Wichita Falls. Now, San Antonio, you know, we had 10 wet days in nice tents that leaked, and so that's a miserable time. Then they shipped me to basic training in Wichita Falls, and that for the first 6 weeks, I don't think I enjoyed that very much, but it was something we had to do, and I managed to get through it. After leaving Wichita Falls, they shipped me to Forbes Air Force Base in Topeka, Kansas, which was a part of the Strategic Air Command. In Forbes Air in Topeka, Kansas. Why, of course, I got there just a year after they had their major flood, so we had a lot of cleanup and had a hard time. I was married at that time, so we had a hard time finding a place to live. But I spent my time in Forbes there in Topeka, Kansas, for most of my term, except for the time that I spent in Denver, Colorado, on some short TDY tours. But the closest I ever got to Korea was North Africa, and we had a hot, jolly time there. You know, North Africa has a lot of sandstorms, but so does Lubbock. But I guarantee you, the sandstorms in Lubbock, well, I believe, in North Africa, I think they called them sirocco's. I was stationed about halfway between Marrakesh and Casablanca out there in the boondocks, and when they had a sandstorm, they knew how to put on a sandstorm. And so Lubbock's sandstorms, I enjoy them. They're not a problem. But I got out of the Air Force in 1956, and went on back into tech, and I've been in and around Lubbock continuously from that time on. As a landscape architect, retired at this point. So, but I want to say thank you to this honor flight group. You know, I went with them this year to Washington, this past year to Washington. And I want you to know that is the best organized, most well taken care of group of, I think we had 90 veterans there and about 50 others that supported it. So they had plenty of help, and it was a wonderful time in Washington this past year. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Dave Walker, and I've been asked to represent all who served during the Vietnam War and the time after that when we were still trying to win the peace over in Europe. How many of you are Vietnam veterans here? Vietnam era veterans, were you in? Please stand. Our services went anywhere from about 1961 to 1975. It was one of the longest conflicts that we were involved in. I was in A Company 141st Signal Battalion, as I'm sure you all know your units too, and I was 1st Armored Division. I was also a volunteer in 1972 to enter the service of our country. It's not, it is something that I never regretted, even though it was a time when it was very unpopular to be in the military or to be associated with the military. 3 million men and women, American men and women, were called on to serve in the Vietnam theater and the Asian theater of war back then. Around 60,000, when you add up those who never came home or are still listed as missing in action, lost their lives during that conflict, with probably one of the most unpopular conflicts that our American military was involved in. I am extremely proud of the service that I was able to render, the way I was called on to do it, and the service that you were able to do as well. And we have everything to be grateful for in serving our country, and left a legacy of pride and accomplishment that went on through this day. So I know one thing that we share in common is since we've been home, and I've been home 40 years as of next month, 40 years, it's hard to even say that, that there is not one day that's gone by that I have not been grateful to be home. Grateful for those who I served with and still in contact with, and grateful for this country. So thank you, Vietnam era veterans and those who served around the world during that time period, for your service and dedication to our country.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jeremy Lorenzo Cedeno, and before I say anything, I'd just like to give thanks to all the other veterans from previous eras, and to say thank you for them to blaze a path for us. Without these soldiers and veterans to blaze that path, there wouldn't have been a path for me to walk through. So let's give them a round of applause. I was deployed with the unit 13th COSCOM down to East Asia, Iraq. I served in OIF 3. So at this time, I would like to ask if there's any at Iraq. veterans, Afghanistan veterans. If you please stand or raise a hand so you can be recognized at this time. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's all stand and salute these men and women who have sacrificed for our nation so we can be free. I mean, there is nothing greater in our lives than our freedom and our ability to serve this country. So we salute all of you and all of you who are here today who served our nation when you were called upon to do so. Thank you very much. A round of applause, please. Now that's quite all right. We have another World War II vet sitting right here. And we salute you for your service. Pacific Theater or Atlantic, sir? Both. Oh, you got the full Monty. Good for you. Which service, sir? Which branch?
I was a naval pilot on USS Guadalcanal.
A naval pilot on the Guadalcanal, ladies and gentlemen. My dad flew PBYs. He didn't like it. But it's okay. He survived. Okay, now events like this don't just happen. There are a lot of people who put their heart and souls into this, and a lot of generous support as well from this community. First, let me thank all of the volunteers who are here today, the people who are passing out pamphlets about their various organizations, the people who are in blue shirts with the City of Lubbock, staffers from the City of Lubbock who made this event happen. We had many event sponsors, including the City of Lubbock, the Vietnam Center and Archive, which is at Texas Tech, Lubbock National Bank, Bodyworks Family Sports Centers, Dave King Advertising, 105.7 King FM, United Supermarkets, Culligan of Lubbock, UMC Health Systems, Short Enterprises, Lubbock County, Shearer Foods, Best In-Home Care of Lubbock, Walker Broadcasting and Communications, Mr. Walker on stage with us as we speak, Walmart at 82nd and Milwaukee, and the Walmart at 4th and Frankfort, Costco, and as you're about to hear, Don Caldwell Entertainment, because these young ladies from Holly Avenue are going to end our program for us officially today. We look forward to seeing you here again next year when we do the second annual West Texas Salute to Veterans. Ladies and gentlemen, let's end with some music from Holly Avenue. We thank you for being here today.
We just want to say thank you so much for having us here today, and thank you for all of y'all's service. We're going to end the show with one of our favorite a cappella songs, and we hope y'all enjoy it. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. He is trampling out the vintage where the grapes of wrath are stored. He hath loosed the faithful lightning of his terrible swift sword. His truth is marching on. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. His truth is marching on. In the beauty of the lily, Christ was born across the sea.